Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is season 3, episode 18, and today we've got with us an awesome guest all the way from the States. We have JNR Aquatic Animal Rescues. I hope I said that right. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Hi, can you get me okay?
Yeah.
My name is John Boyles. I'm the director and founder of JNR Aquatic Animal Rescue, and we are located in the States, like you said. We're located in Nashville, Wisconsin, which is kind of like the middle part, like the flyover state.
Right. Okay. So you haven't got any water on around you?
No, not salt water. We're next to the Great Lakes.
Okay, that's nice. I don't know why, but a bit of my technology is just being slow. But anyways, we've got some awesome questions for you as always. So we're just going to jump on in with the interview, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Brilliant. So first, what is it you do exactly?
We take in the animals that people don't want anymore. So we specialize in fish, but we also take reptiles, birds, small animals, invertebrates, that kind of stuff. We never turn away a person or a pet in need.
Wow. So pretty much everything. That's quite amazing, really. I think that's a really amazing project and a great thing for the community, don't you?
Yeah. It's been quite the adventure. We started up in February of 2020 when we opened our animal shelter, and I started off with maybe about 20 fish tanks, and I think now we're up to over 60 enclosures when it's
wow.
done. And
Wow.
yeah, in the space of 2 years. So now we're actually planning on moving because right now I run this out of my basement, and
Right.
we're looking at opening a storefront so we can have an adoption center and be open to the public and have a little bit more room.
Yeah, well, that would be amazing, actually. So you say you run it all out of your basement, and you've got 40 odd enclosures. I'm guessing it's pretty cramped.
What was that?
I'm guessing it's pretty tight for space.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're pretty much for what we can handle right now. Yeah.
No, I think it would be brilliant if you got your own premises. You'd be able to take on so much more, and like you say, just doing so much more. We've got some really good information about something that you do already do, and it's I'm going to try and get it right, the Exotic Pet Surrender Program.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually when we got started was back in 2016. We started working with University Sea Grant on invasive species projects, because when people don't have anywhere to go with their pets, they tend to let them go and think they're going to have a better life. And do problems like invasive species. And there's no pound for fish. So we started doing these events locally so people would have someplace to go with their pets that they didn't want anymore. And it was kind of like a one-stop shop. We work with other rescues like bird rescues and reptile rescues and exotic animal rescues. So literally, if you have any kind of pet, you can just drop it off and somebody will take it. And
wow.
Now that we have our own shelter, we started going across the state. So we do one event a month in different cities all across the state of Wisconsin. And
wow.
They can be, I think the furthest we ever drove for one was 8 hours. So it's 8 hours. And that's really where we need to go, because there's just no place to go with unwanted exotic pets, especially fish, because the local humane societies and pounds and animal control offices, they don't have the capability to take care of exotic pets and fish.
Yeah, no, definitely, and not the expertise either. I think a lot of things like that are kind of cats and dogs and general pets, not so much, exotic expertise. So, your aim when you take in these animals, is it your aim to sort of rehouse them, or is it your aim do you end up keeping many of them?
So it's our Constitution, right in our founding documents, that everything that gets surrendered has to be adopted out. That was the only way I was going to let my wife was going to let me start an animal rescue, is if we made sure that everything that came in went back out.
Yeah, that's fair. That is really respectable, actually. How can you stop yourself? Because there must be some instances where something comes in and you're like, oh, I want this one.
Oh, it's really hard. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where if I start keeping stuff, I'm going to have to start turning people away, and that's not something I ever want to do.
No,
We're out of space. So
yeah.
we kind of keep things moving so we can open up more cages for more animals in need.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's really good ethos as well. And to be fair, that way you get every pet eventually. You know, you don't have to just have the one. You keep, you know what I'm trying to say. You get lots of different things in. Is there anything that you won't take?
So the only thing we don't take is cats or dogs.
Okay, that's fair. Is that because there's already like facilities in place for them?
Yeah. So there's already we have, in my county we have the county humane society, and they'll take dogs, cats, and farm animals. And
Right.
in my city, there's only you can only have, I think, 2 cats or 2 dogs
Oh wow.
on our property. So that's just not something that we really want to deal with. And
Yeah.
the same thing, you can't take farm animals just because of where I live.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair. What's the biggest thing you've ever taken, or the biggest haul of multiple animals?
Last year at one of these events, we took in a 9-foot a 9-foot reticulated python. So that was really big.
Wow.
Same one, we got a 3-foot American alligator. So that was another really big one.
Wow. So that's quite an undertaking, having a python or even an alligator. Wow. What sort of facilities would you have in place for an alligator?
Well, like I said, we work with other rescues, so we have a whole network that we can work with, and so it's kind of nice because, like, the American alligator, once it was turned in, I was able to easily call up some of the other rescues and find a place for it to go. So it wasn't even here at our shelter for more than 24 hours.
Brilliant. Wow. That's still amazing. Like, for me over in the UK, even talking about an alligator coming to your house, like, wow. Like, we just don't have anything like that over here.
Right.
No, that's pretty amazing, actually. Have you ever had like a problem? Have you ever been bitten by anything? Have you had anything escape?
Yeah, so I've had a few things escape. Like turtles get out a lot because they like stack on top of each other.
Okay.
They one can get out. So I've had those get out before. I have a big red-footed tortoise. He's gotten out before. And then an iguana got out before. But that's about it. I haven't really been bitten by anything, mostly because I'm very careful. I've been doing this for a really long time. And I don't take a whole lot of chances when it comes to be potentially dangerous. So yeah, I haven't really been bitten by too much.
No, that's really cool. So you say you've been doing it a really long time. Obviously you said that you started this project only a few years ago. What sort of background did you have beforehand?
Yeah, so I've been working in the pet industry since 1996. I did other than like a 3-year stint in the Army. So I've been working in the pet industry with reptiles, fish, birds, small animals, dogs, cats, working in pet stores for most of my life. And I've done everything from like store manager to department manager to dog washer to stocker. So I've got a lot of experience and a varied experience working with pets.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's always nice to hear that you've had like years and years of experience building up to it, and then you've realized there's a gap, something missing. You know what I mean?
And,
I think that's really cool.
And my educational background is in natural resources, so I went to school for like forestry and environmental education and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And so where those two lines meet are invasive species, and that's how I started working with the Sea Grant on these exotic pet surrender events. And it's just kind of like one thing, built on another, built on another, built on another, and here I am today.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that because, like you say, it's built out of experience rather than someone just coming in and saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this." You've got experience. You've told you that this is, yeah, it's a really big project. What would be your absolute favorite animal that you've ever had to look after? If you can name one, there's always a hard one.
For sure, Francis. That's Francis. He's probably my favorite. He's a so he's by far my favorite.
Okay. Now he looks absolutely awesome. How big is he, and how big's he gonna get?
So he's a male. He's about 15 years old, so I think he's full grown.
Okay.
A big female would be like 100 pounds and 30 inches, where he's about 18 inches. Just his shell is about 18 inches, and he weighs about 25 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you'll be looking to rehouse him soon?
Yep, absolutely. We're trying to get him into a breeding program because these guys are really rare in captivity here in the States. So that's kind of like our goal for him, is to try to get him into like a zoo.
Wow, cool. That actually leads us on to another question I was going to ask you is, do you take in breeding couples and such if you've got, you know what I'm trying to say, do you take in breeding animals?
Oh, yeah. So, so if people have like, any kind of pet that they want to get rid of, we don't discriminate against, breeders or anything like that. So, we've taken in lots of pairs of things.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I think that might hold a lot of people back if they don't know that you would take it, because obviously it's a bit more of an undertaking taking on multiples which could multiply,
Yeah, for sure. I think when we first started back in February, in early 2020, somebody dropped off a breeding pair of axolotls and like 50 babies, and it took us like almost a year and a half to like adopt all of them out.
Yeah, that's quite a big job. What sort of time, roughly, like time period, do you aim to have animals for? Do you try and get them out by 6 weeks, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, as short as possible. We hold everything for 2 weeks, and in that time, we advertise that we have them, and we let people know like when they're going to be available to adopt. And the shorter amount of time, or the faster we can put an animal into a home, the better, because like I said, it frees up space so we can help even more.
Yeah, no, definitely. You say that you're trying to get Francis into a breeding program. Sorry to jump back to that. I just went off on a tangent. Is that something you regularly do with animals as well, or have you ever tried breeding some yourself for a breeding program?
So not while I've been doing this through JNR Aquatic Animal Rescue, but I was in the Green Bay Aquarium Society, which is like a local fish club, and they have a breeders award program, and I almost maxed out in points. So I've been breeding fish for more than a decade on my own. But now that we're here doing this, we don't really breed too much here. I mean, occasionally it happens, like I have a guppy tank where whenever we get guppies, I'll just put them in there, and it's full of babies because you can't stop them from breeding. But it's not anything we try to do here on purpose. Just again, a large part of that is just space. Like, we just don't have the space to maintain, breeding pairs of anything.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair, and I think it's completely understandable as well. If you had, say for instance, you had a pair of rabbits. Rabbits breed like rabbits, and they soon take over every enclosure that you have.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
The next question that I've been asked to bring up is: do you take in animals that are sick and like
Oh
got
yeah.
ailments? Yeah,
Absolutely. We'll have sometimes the local vets will reach out if somebody can't pay for a treatment for their pet to get fixed. Not cats or dogs, but if they've got like lizards or turtles or frogs that are sick and they can't afford treatment, they'll surrender it to me, and then I'll pay the vet bill and I'll take him home and get them all fixed up.
wow.
Yeah, because that's just what we do. You know.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I can tell, honestly, I can tell that you just absolutely have a passion for it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah. For sure.
it's
I mean,
really nice.
you have to, because I mean, I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid to do any of this. so, so you have to be passionate to be able to just wake up every day and dedicate so much time and energy and your own money to kind of make this project grow.
Yeah, definitely. So you say you don't get paid for any of it. I know it's also a non-profit organization. So any donations and things like that that goes towards the upkeep, I assume.
Yep.
Upkeep of
Yeah.
animals,
It goes towards it goes just to keep the lights on and the animals fed, basically. Yeah. All
yeah, yeah,
like any donations that come in, we do several fundraisers a year, and that just kind of helps helps pay all our bills.
yeah, yeah. Which is really important. Like we've all got massive like me with my ant tanks alone, I know how expensive it can
Oh,
be.
sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I just want to urge anyone watching or listening to this to like look into making donations towards this great charity. It's amazing work that you're doing. So I really want to promote and help in any way I can.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No, no problem.
If you wanted to donate, the best way to do that actually is on Facebook. If you look us up, you can either donate to one of our fundraisers or create your own because they don't charge any fees. So
Yeah,
so that's kind of nice.
yeah, that's always a bonus, isn't it? Not losing some out.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
we, we've got a bit of a random question that my daughter's been dying for me to ask.
Yeah.
Do goldfish really have a 3 second memory?
No, actually, they don't. They can remember stuff for quite a while.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So it's
So
not just 3 seconds.
it's just a big myth.
Yeah,
It's
for
just,
sure.
yeah. Wow. Okay. So really, when you have a goldfish in just a boring enclosure, they are really bored. They're not forgetting it. They are really bored.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So it's always a good idea to try and enrich the enclosures, as I say. I was
Yeah.
looking at that one behind you, and it looks really amazing. Do you put the enclosures together yourself?
No. So a lot of these were donated, or I bought, or I just had from before I did this. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. So when they donate the pet, they quite often donate their enclosure as well. That's really handy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of nice. And anything we can't use, we clean up and we'll wind up selling. So
Yeah,
again to keep the project going.
yeah, definitely, definitely. It needs doing. What would you say is your most common animal that you get donated?
We get a lot of turtles. I want to say like this year, I think we've already gotten something like 70 turtles.
Wow.
So that's probably like the biggest one. Um, and we actually work with there's a chain pet store here called Petco, and we work with
Right.
them, and we send them to a turtle farm down in Louisiana so they could at least like live outside for a while. Plus, there's
Yeah.
like with the amount that I get in versus the amount that I adopt out, there is no way that I'd be able to take in as many as I do if it wasn't for that program, because it would be completely
Yeah.
unsustainable.
Wow. Wow. So why is that? Why is it that turtles are so numerously coming to you? Is it that people buy them and not realize how big they get, or the
Yeah, that they
requirements?
get real big, or that they just live for a really long time. So, kids get them when they're 8 or 9, and then 10
Yeah.
years later, they go off to college and can't take them
Still
or don't
got
want
that.
them anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of understandable, and again, it's a great thing that your project is there because we wouldn't know what would happen to all these turtles. It is amazing though, that number 70 is really, it's shocking really.
Right? Yeah, that's so far we've taken in more turtles this year than we have every other year, and
Wow.
it's only it's only June.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So on average, how many animals would you say you get in like a month's period?
I would say probably 50.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow. So
yeah,
it's a
especially now that
really,
because we do those events. So probably 50 animals a month is a pretty good
wow.
estimation.
So that's a really busy program then.
Yeah, for sure. At any given time, I think like right now we have about 200 animals
Wow.
in house right now. I think the most we've ever had was about 600.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of time, care, and effort. And again, you don't
yeah.
get paid for any of that. So is that something that you do full time, or do you have a job as well to like support yourself?
Yeah. So I work at a hotel, at night, a couple nights a week, and I work the front desk, and it's a lot of fun. I have a good time. Helps keep gas in the car and my
Yeah.
lights on, and
Yeah.
then my wife works full time as well.
Yeah, of
So
course, of course. No, that's really amazing because obviously this takes up so much time and energy. It's tiring work. I know it's tiring work,
right,
and
for
then
sure.
to do all of that volunteering and then go and work as well. Really well done to you, and my hat comes off. Well done.
Well, thank you.
No, like I appreciate what you're doing for the pet world. To be honest, I think it's an amazing job, and there should be more projects like it. More people trying to get involved.
Yeah, yeah. It's it would be great if we could get more people on board with just rescue and taking in exotic pets and
Yeah.
educating people on how to take care of them and stuff. That would be really great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think education's a big part of it as well because quite a lot of people will buy a pet and not do the research beforehand, or I don't know, just I don't think there's enough education about exotic animals just in
Right,
general.
right.
Definitely not about ants.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. Like I've been following you since we've connected, and yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool. The the ant keepers. That's really interesting.
yeah, yeah. See, I have got a rehoming program sort of thing for ants as well, because exactly the same. If you've got an ant colony and you don't know what to do with it, it's better than releasing it or
Yeah, right. Because
euthanizing.
for sure.
So yeah, yeah, I've rehoused a few colonies. It's not like a massive project like yours, but it's there if someone needs it.
Yeah, yeah. Because what do you do? What would you do? Like people need to
Exactly.
get rid of their pets for various reasons. People pass away, people move, life situations change, and you're stuck. What do you do with them?
Yeah,
And that's where we come in,
that's
and
it. That's it.
it's
And
really important.
it is important. And like I said, it offers a really valuable service because otherwise, like you say, you're stuck. And with these exotic pets, I know the US, the States is really strict on exotic pets going um, getting loose. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah, really strict. And it's not worth the risk. I'd rather there be somewhere for these situations.
right. Exactly.
Definitely. Um, what would you say is your most interesting fish that you've had? I know that's a random question because that's come from my daughter again, but
Yeah.
there's lots of really cool fish, isn't there? Like lots of cool
Yeah.
fish.
So one of the first fish that we got was a big frontosa. That's where we get our logo from. So
Nice.
he was cool. He was really big. So I mean, he was probably a foot long. So that was probably one
Wow.
of the most interesting ones that we got in. And he actually got adopted out, and then that person moved and had to get and brought him back.
Oh,
So he
wow.
was like our boomerang fish. But yeah, so that was probably his name was Bruce, and he's our logo. So he's probably the
Yeah,
most interesting fish that we've had.
that's really cool. Actually, I like that it became your logo. Well, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
See, my daughter, she always gives me lots of interesting questions, we can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, she livens up the questions a bit, we could say
Right.
that. Your YouTube channel, there's not an awful lot on it at the moment.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have a lot of ideas for making content, but I don't have a lot of time. I'm always cleaning cages,
yeah,
so hopefully when we move into a storefront and have our adoption center, I'll be able to get some volunteers and free up some time.
yeah, definitely. So is it something that you do completely on your own at the moment?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow,
Basically a one-man show.
wow. With that many animals, that's really amazing as well.
For
Um,
sure, yeah.
do you ever get in a situation where you just don't know what you're looking after, sort of thing? You need to sit down and do the research.
Um, Not well, like with Francis, I did because he's like really rare. It was um, really hard to find information on him. But everybody else, there hasn't been anything that I really haven't worked with just because of my, decades of experience.
Yeah,
So there hasn't been a whole lot that I've been too worried about. But Francis was probably the biggest one where I had to I had to make phone calls and email zoos to get information on how to take
wow,
care of them. Yeah, because
wow.
they're just really not found in the hobby here.
That's really interesting, and it's quite interesting that again it was owned by a hobbyist or a pet owner, but it's such a rare breed. Did they know what they had?
Yeah, they did. So he was really, really into turtles, and he was a school teacher, and so he had some really rare turtles. We had Francis here, and he had a pair of them, but the female had passed away years ago. He also came with two alligator snapping turtles,
Wow.
which I do videos of those. Those videos are on my
Yeah.
TikToks. And and two tortoises that went to another shelter. So he was like really, really into turtles. And you can find these guys because these guys are bred in captivity, but they're
Yeah.
just not very rare in the hobby. They're not very
Common.
popular in the hobby because they get so big.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what sort of diet do they have?
So I feed him fresh fruits and vegetables. He gets pellet food. I have crocodile food, which is like a big pellet, like that big.
Wow.
And he'll get like frozen fish that I get from the grocery store. And he ate a frozen mouse the other day. Just I wanted to see if he'd eat it, and he did.
Yeah.
So he gets a pretty varied diet, and he hasn't really turned his nose up at anything yet. So that's good too.
That's really interesting, actually. I didn't know that they had such a wide variety of foods that they eat.
Yeah,
To be honest,
yeah.
I honestly didn't know what they ate.
For sure. So today I fed him. While we've been sitting here chatting, I fed him some lettuce and a strawberry and a carrot and a piece of squash. So
Well, okay. So, what I can see is a water section. Is there a land section as well?
yeah. So up there, he's got a little shelf that he can sit on.
Okay, yeah.
He hasn't really gone up there yet. When we got him, we were told that he wasn't really a strong swimmer, so we had him basically just in a little bit of water. And now I've been slowly raising the water level, and now he's got a basking platform, and I haven't really seen him use it. But
No, that's good. So he obviously enjoys the water.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm just watching him in the background. He's so cool to see. I've never seen something like a one like that.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Large, very large. I've seen like small tortoises and things, but that's something else completely.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned your TikTok platform. Is that a place that you post quite regularly?
I do. I try to post on there every day just because it's so quick and it doesn't have to be like super informative. With YouTube,
Yeah.
I kind of want to do more like instructional videos and demonstrations and stuff like that. And I just don't have time to really
put all of that together and properly edit it and stuff like that. But TikTok is kind of like real quick and easy, to put out content. And the same thing with like Instagram and Facebook. We try to post those out every day as well.
Yeah, I noticed that your Facebook has lots of great information, great pictures on it. So that's always worth looking at as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've also got a website, is that right?
What was that?
You've also got a website.
Yeah, the website. Right? Yeah. I've got if you www.jraar.org, and that's where we post our adoptable animals. So like you can see like all the stuff we have available for adoption on there, and some of our like our governing documents, like our constitution and our bylaws and treasurer's reports and stuff like that. So you kind of see like if you contribute, if you donate money, you'll be able to see exactly where it's spent. So that kind of transparency is super important to us. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think that's really important anyways in gaining the trust of the community.
Yeah. When we set out, like I didn't want people to think that we were, hoarding animals. I wanted everything to be like super transparent, where people would be able to see like the animals are coming in, are going out, and all the money that we generate from adoption fees and fundraisers and donations. Like people can just go online and see like where that money is being spent. Because there are some like rescues. There's no real definition of what it takes to start a rescue, and a lot of them come and go, where they just set up and they're brand new and they have a Facebook page and people are giving them stuff and then they just disappear. And we wanted to make sure that we're super transparent and you can see what we're up to at any given time.
No, I think that's really good. I like that. Do you have sort of an end goal? Like you say you're aiming to expand into a new facility. So what comes next after that?
Well, I mean, so once we get the facility, I'd like to hire a staff and, be able to really start doing more things in the community education-wise, like give talks and things like that. And then potentially bring our surrender events across the country. That would probably be our biggest goal. But step one is getting the facility. Step two is getting a staff, and then step three is continue to grow.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good way to go, and it would be amazing to see that growth taking place in the future. I can't wait to see it happening. Maybe you'll have a center in every state.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It could explode. You never know,
right?
So you taking land animals. You mentioned that you taking land animals. Is it you that takes in the land animals, or do you always try and get someone else involved? If that's the best way to put it.
So no, we'll always take them, and then it just depends on like what we have going for like space wise. If we start getting full up, then I'll reach out for help. But a lot of the smaller stuff we can handle.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So stuff like bearded dragons, snakes you've already mentioned, all of that sort of thing's not an issue.
Correct. Yeah, as long as we have space. Like right now, I think we've got a bearded dragon, we've got a tortoise, we've got a hedgehog, a hamster, we've got some leopard geckos. Yeah, we've got a black and white tegu and a 6-foot red-tailed boa.
Wow.
So, so that stuff, most of that stuff has like been dropped off within the last couple of days or last couple of weeks.
Wow. And do you think that any of that's going to be moving very fast? I mean, the tegu, I would have thought tegus are pretty sought after.
So this one will be leaving quarantine, I think, today. And he actually came to us from Florida, where they're illegal. You can't own tegus in Florida unless you have a permit. They passed that law like a few years ago, and then everybody who had a tegu, they were legal. You got a free permit, you got to keep them, but you couldn't get rid of them. So, so Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission contacted me, and they asked, since in Wisconsin they are legal, we can legally have them because it gets cold here in the winter, and if they were to get out, they would just die. But so they contacted me, and they flew him from Florida to Wisconsin here, and we took him in about 2 weeks ago. So we're still getting to know her a little bit, but yeah, hopefully she goes pretty quick.
Yeah, but that's really cool. I personally, I've never had one, but I've always been interested by tegus. I think they're amazing. Like anything like that, miniature dragons, basically, they're really cool.
Yeah, they're neat. I'm really looking forward to getting to know her a little bit better.
Yeah, I bet. Do you still enjoy the feeding process and the caring for, or has it become like a job?
Well, I've been doing it for so long; it's always been a job. But yeah, that's the part that I like most is the feeding and the maintenance because it's rewarding.
Yeah. And do you find you still get time to actually spend time with the animals as well, or do you think it's a little bit hectic? You haven't got the staff.
It can be a little bit hectic just because there's just so much to do, and it's just me right now. But most of the animals here don't need a lot of interaction. Most of our animals are fish, so it's not like they need to get handled a lot. So the animals that need handling, we don't have a whole lot of them. Like if I had 30 tegus that needed to be handled and acclimated and make sure that they're friendly, that would be a lot different than having like 30 fish.
Yeah. No, that's completely understandable, I suppose. Do you have any other hobbies outside of pets and looking after?
Yeah, so I play Dungeons and Dragons. That's probably my biggest hobby other than the pet thing. I have a weekly game. We meet at the library here. And I'm the game master. It's a good time. We've been playing for almost a year. I think yesterday was our 41st weekly session in a row.
Wow.
So yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. I bet it's quite a good community, the Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it myself, but I'm into quite a bit of gaming, and I know Dungeons and Dragons. It's such a great community and massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been really great. So I started playing, a few years ago with some strangers, and scheduling is kind of hard. So I started my own game, and I play with one of my friends, and then another one of my friends who's been playing for longer than I've been alive. He joined us, and then the rest are just people that I met online, like met on Facebook, and they've joined us. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's like you said, it's a great community to be a part of.
Yeah, it's always good to be part of a community like that. I think it's good to have a hobby outside of the pets as well, because I think it might drive you.
Yeah, because you can't be like we're all work all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I do try sometimes, but it kills you eventually. It will kill you if you do.
Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy that. So you said the area that you're in, kind of, it's landlocked and it gets cold. Do you get to go out and enjoy nature? Is that something that you get to do?
Yeah. So I was a naturalist for a while, and so I worked at a nature center, and I used to take kids out and teach them about plants and animals. And I still try to do that. I have a 3-year-old daughter who is like fascinated, as all kids are, by nature. So we go for walks and nature hikes, and we go down to the creek and catch crayfish and all that. And so I do like to get into nature every now and then.
That's cool. We thought we'd ask that question because in the States you've got like such amazing space, and like I'm on a little island, like not just the UK, like
for sure.
Where I actually live in the UK is a separate little island to the UK.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's like 3 or 4 miles wide or something. It's tiny. I've got I think we've got about 10 trees on the whole island.
Wow. What's the island?
Portland.
Portland. Okay, yeah, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's
but I
tiny.
mean that's not saying. My dad's from the UK. My dad moved here in the 50s when he was a teenager. He's from Edinburgh.
Okay, yeah, up
Yeah,
Scotland.
yeah, for sure. And I still have family in London and in Scotland and in Ireland. You know, cousins and things like that. I talk to on Facebook a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so we do have like a lot of cool nature. You guys have a lot, like you guys have nature that I would think is really cool. You know, because
Yeah.
like I'm used to my nature, but your stuff would be interesting to me. So
Yeah,
um,
that's it. I mean, I always like looking at the comparisons, especially
yeah.
when I talk to people from the States. Like, we don't have bears. Simple as that. We don't have
Oh
any
yeah,
bears.
yeah, yeah, we have a ton of bears. Even where I live, they turn up occasionally.
Oh wow, wow.
Like around town, yeah. So
Is that
wolves too. We have wolves and bears. I mean, like in the northern latitudes of the United States. So I mean,
yeah?
like, not like maybe a 12-hour drive to Canada. So I mean,
Oh, not far.
so we're real close.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, we've got all that.
Would you ever be worried that the bears would pick up the scent of your animals and come looking
Oh,
for them?
no. So we're they're not that common, and so even the ones that we do kind of see come through here are definitely moving through. They're not like setting up dens or anything, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay, okay. Because that I can honestly say, bears. I don't know what I'd do if I saw a bear outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're big. They're bigger than you think, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, scary stuff. The States are quite scary, but then you see Australia, and it kind of makes everyone look like little girls.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would rather have the bear than you be able to see a bear rather
Yeah,
than like a spider in your shoe. You know that
yeah,
you don't see coming.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I'll ever even go to Australia because it's just
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
So we're heading towards the end of the interview now. So if anyone in the chat has any questions, please do put them in now, and I'll make sure that they get asked. Um, is there any animals that I know you said you'll take anything, but is there any that you don't particularly like having?
I not really. Um, I think the like the small animals like rabbits and hamsters and stuff like that. I prefer not to work with those because I'm used to working with fish and reptiles.
Yeah,
And with rabbits and small mammals, you really have to like change their water every day, and and make sure that they get food. Whereas fish, you just feed it once a day and that's it. You don't have to like wash a water bottle, wash a food dish, wash a treats dish. So
yeah,
they're just a little bit more labor intensive. And we're lucky that there's a small animal rescue in town that we work with. But yeah, I think the ones that I would rather not work with are like rodents. But I do. But on a scale from 1 to 10, they're a 5, and everything else is a 9.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're still cool. But if I had to pick one, it would be those.
So we've got a couple of questions coming through from the community. So I'll bring them up on screen as we go. Ant
For sure.
Ramlin is asking, what about animals that have to eat other animals? So
Yeah.
predator.
So we have had that in the past with like snakes. That's I think the only thing. So we get a snake. Like I said, we hold it for 2 weeks to get to know it, and I'll try to feed it frozen food. If it doesn't eat twice, I'll just give it away to somebody that's willing to feed live food. We don't, we're an animal rescue, and not that I'm personally against it or anything. I just don't feel like it's a good public image that we would feed animals to other animals. So
Yeah,
everything that we have in house eats either frozen food or prepared food. So like we're not feeding pets to pets.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a good kind of ethos.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Creepy Critters and Reptiles is asking, what animal would you love to own yourself? if you could have any?
So I do have, I do have a number of my own pets that I had a lot of them since before we started, and I've purchased more. So like my own pets, I have a peepa toad, like the Suriname toads, and I have a Matamata turtle. I have a diamondback terrapin. I have a big American bullfrog. I've got African bullfrog. So I've got a bunch of my own personal pets. So I think if there was going to be like one that I would want more than anything, I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
It's always a hard question.
Yeah, because I mean, like diamondback terrapin and Matamata turtle were always like my bucket list ones. So I think I would probably say like the Javan elephant trunk snake. They're fully aquatic. That's a really cool one that I haven't really seen in the trade that I've heard good things about. Or a tentacled snake. Those are another fully aquatic snake that you don't really see too often here in the States. So I think that would probably be my main two. That if I saw one, I would impulse buy it. The elephant trunk snake and the tentacled snake for sure.
Yeah. Again, Ant Ramblings is amazing for bringing in lots of questions. He's saying you must have massive water and electric bills to cover.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely, we did see a spike, and the rescue does pay a portion, like their portion of the electric bill. I bought one of those. You can plug it into a plug and then plug your appliances into it, and it'll tell you how much electricity you use. So like once a quarter, I audit my entire facility, and I see how much power we're using, and they reimburse us for it. So that's really cool.
Oh, wow.
that we're in a position to do that.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Do you get any kind of state help?
No. We did our first year, but it was a lot of paperwork. So the second year, I just didn't apply for any grants because we do a lot of invasive species work. So we qualify for invasive species grants, but I think we're going to do it again for next year. But we're going to go with more like of a 5-year plan. So I only have to do like paperwork once every 5 years instead of every year. So that'll be next.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Another one. What animal would you never part with, or what is your favorite? I know we did say Francis earlier.
Yeah, Francis is my favorite one, but he will eventually get a home. So, like I said, I have my own personal pets that I just wouldn't get rid of, unless like I absolutely had to. But some of the ones that are probably going to be like harder. Yeah, he's going to be the hardest thing to get rid of, I think, because he's so personable.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be difficult to get rid of because he's large? He needs a huge space. Is that going to hold it up as well?
Well, and just emotionally, like because my daughter's super attached to him. I'm really attached to him. So it's going to be emotionally hard to get rid of him, but it's also going to be hard to find a place that can take him. So
yeah, no, that's completely understandable. We've got another one. How long are your rescue animals, exotic pets, with you for until they are rehomed? And what's your longest residence?
So we had a black pacu named Eeyore, and we had him for about 1.5 years before we found a home for him.
Wow.
He went to a public aquarium. So that was the one that we had for the longest, and nothing so far we've had, for that length of time.
Yeah, that's quite considerable amount of time. Is that again because it just no one had the facilities, no one was really interested?
So, we're really picky on who we adopt to. So you have to fill out an application. There's an interview process, and then you can adopt the animal. So if you don't have an enclosure that's big enough to keep it for its entire life, you won't get approved for the application. So with a black pacu, they get like 3 feet long. They need tanks in the thousands of gallons. and nobody's just got that. So he was kind of one of the fish that we were kind of like resigned to just keeping forever. But we wound up working with this with an aquarium called SeaQuest in Minnesota, which is our neighboring state, and he wound up going there, and which was great because they came and picked him up. Like they came in a truck and they brought like big, huge bins full of water, and they wound up adopting something like 200 animals, I think, from us all at once, which was really like, it was really, really great. They took a bunch of turtles, a bunch of like our big fish that people just don't have room for. So it was really great that they were able to help us out with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really impressive that you kind of have that vetting process as well. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it really is, because when people surrender their animal, like we promise them that we're going to work hard to find them a good home, and I'm reminded of that like every day. Like, some of these, like, for instance, we had these discus fish, they were really nice. They were really expensive. The gentleman that had them were, he had terminal brain cancer. So he wasn't able to take care of him anymore. And, I did I never do house calls, but for him, I did a house call, and I went and picked him up, and I was scooping him up, and he's crying and I'm crying. And, I just wouldn't let them go to anybody, because they're a nice fish, and they're, they meant a lot to the guy, and they meant a lot to me. And finally, one of our really good customers, Katie, she wound up adopting them, and she took them all, which is really nice. And I waived most of the adoption fees just because I knew that they were going to a really, really good home. And that's just that's an important part of what we do, is trying to place them in the proper environment.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important. Like you say, like having your enclosure ready, the space, a bit of knowledge behind you. Yeah, I think it's always really important to prep yourself before getting any pet, even if it is a cat and dog. Be ready for what you're taking on. Yeah, definitely. And then hopefully we'll get less being given up in the future.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that is actually all of my questions now, and I think it's all of the questions from the community. So I want to say a massive, massive thank you for coming on the show, but also a massive thank you for what you're doing for the pet trade. Amazing.
Well, thank you for having me. It was my first time on a podcast, so it was really great. If you guys have any questions or need anything, feel free to reach out. You can email or hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah. We will share the links, all your links to YouTube,
absolutely,
Facebook, Instagram. We'll share all of that for you as well. But again, just a massive thank you, and I'm going to let you go off and carry on with your busy old work.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you later.
No, thank you, buddy. We'll see you later. Bye. There we go, and we go that one. There we go. How was that, everyone? That was a great interview. I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna change the cameras over so that it's not fuzzy. You're gonna have a fuzzy face, but not a fuzzy thing. And then we're gonna carry on chatting for like the next hour or so, like we always do. A little bit of a chat show. Thanks, Ant Ramblings. I really enjoyed that one. It was a bit different because I don't think we've ever had aquatic animals on the stream before. Interesting. I don't know a lot about fish either. I've owned fish, but only at like basic level fish. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm going to put on the 30-second timer, and we're going to put on the 30-second timer. I'm going to swap the doodads over, the cameras over. I'm just trying to find the. I don't know why that's not working. I just put on my other internet connection just to try and get it a little bit less fuzzy, but that's not working. So we're just going to put on a 30-second timer, swap it over, and I will be straight back with you. We're almost there. We want to do that one. No. Oh, the light's just gone off as well. That's it. Oh no, it's not. Hang on. Right, that is awful angle. Hang on. That's a bit better. And hello, everybody. Welcome back to my voice. Would you like to see my face as well? Should we get a face on there? Hello. This is my face. Oh, so that was actually a really good stream. I enjoyed it. That was great fun. We've got some really interesting interviews coming up in the next month. So you might have realised we've gone really randomly. We'll be all over the place. So let's get them on. Let's find out what they're doing. Let's expand our knowledge of what's going on. I thought that was amazing. And yeah, I stumbled across him and his project and what he was doing. I was so impressed. I was like, yes, definitely. You're getting an echo. Give me two. Hang on.
That should solve it. I apologise. Sorry. I left the microphone on the doodad, so you were hearing this microphone, then that microphone, and then it was bouncing between. Echo. Is it fixed? Echo. Yeah. You get the point. Should we have a little duck race in a minute? Excuse my cough. I've got this nasty cough. It's getting better again. We're heading towards the right way. Back at my training. I've got dumbbells literally. Hang on. That's how close my dumbbells are because I am training again. My chest is getting better. As you can tell, I can breathe. I'm happier. The streams are flowing a bit better. And also, I want to bring up technology is working a little bit better. Yes, my face might be a little bit blurry right now, but it's only my face. It's working, That one, I think we might have had a little bit of a connection issue, but he is in the States. You know what it's like over there. It's crazy. So we've currently got 5 people in the doodad, in the chat. I'm going to bring up a duck race for 5 people. So if you're still here, give us a little hello. Let me know you're here. Let me know you want a duck race. I know you're still here, Ant Ramblings. Thank you very much. And again, thank you, community, Ant Ramblings, Creepy Critters, for questions. It's always really brilliant when you have questions for our guest interviews. It's kind of like, it's nice to have that involvement from the community as well. Really makes them feel welcome and involved. In fact, I've had messages in the hey Mark, thanks for signing in, buddy. Nice to see you. I don't think I've said hello yet, but I've had a few messages lately saying how welcoming my community, all of you lot are. You're really you make my guests feel really welcome and part of the community. So I want to say a massive thank you on their behalf because they've messaged me saying how nice it was to be sort of welcomed in and accepted straight away. Amazing, all of you. You're so awesome, and I love that about you. You're all into the same sort too. We're here to expand our our knowledge and our community. You know what I'm trying to say. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, seriously, thank you. I've had all sorts of nice messages lately. In fact, I had an email after a stream probably about a week ago, maybe a week and a half. And I'm not going to obviously say too much, but it was just a really kind email saying how much they enjoyed the stream, they enjoyed the channel. It kind of really means a lot to them what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it was a really nice email, and it definitely made my day. Yeah, it put a smile on my face, you know what I mean? It's nice to know that it's making a sort of difference as well. If people need something like this to help get them through the day, I'm happy to be there. Their vice, is that the word for it? I don't know. The dark obsession. That sounds like a perfume, isn't it? Dark obsession. I know, it's probably Johnny Depp. Oh, what a legend. Let's carry on. So we've got a few people. We've got Ant Ramblings number 4. Mark is number 3. Creepy Critters at number 2. We do still have number 5 and number 1 available if anyone wants to grab those ducks. We've got Spider Duck, Top Hat Duck, Plain Duck. See, it looks like a green alien duck, but by the eyes, I think it's wearing a suit. And we've got the Bumblebee Duck. Bumblebee Duck is fast, usually very fast. Not any faster than the other ducks because they're exactly the same. It's completely random, but Bumblebee Duck is fast. Right, let's get this race underway. Quack. Got any grapes? If you haven't seen what I'm on about when I say have you got any grapes, you need to check out the duck song. I have put it on stream before, quite a few times actually, I think, and I don't think I'm going to subject my viewers to it tonight because it is pure torture. It's sort of like Baby Shark of ducks. Baby Shark, do. Top Hat Duck is smashing it right now in number 2. Creepy Critters, you might be in with a win here. Bum. Last 15 seconds. Here we go. Pushing down the home straight. Plain Duck out ahead. Pulling out in front of everyone. Like a bad driver. Top Hat Duck has just... He's pulling past and just... Oh, wow. Well done, number 2. Creepy Critters and Reptiles. You have won. I'm afraid there's no prize for this, but you won the duck race. It's all good fun. You never won a duck race. Well, everyone gets a good chance to win a duck race in my one because we do them just for fun. We do. I think the record was like 5 duck races in one night or something like that. Not any of them for a prize, all just for fun. Let's put the screen on. So did anyone see the short I did the other day? So I looked into this enclosure and there's just this massive hole at the front of the substrate. Turns out they sniffed out and found a Mario worm pupae, however you pronounce it. Basically a Mario worm had, I don't know how, but it had got away from them, dug itself into the substrate. It's been there long enough to pupate, not into the worm, into the beetle yet, but it's in that pupa stage. They dug it out, found it, and tore it to pieces. Absolutely shredded it. And now there's like a huge hole in the front of the enclosure, like almost down to drainage level depth. It looks like a massive M. It's quite impressive. And well, so I've been saying for ages, haven't I? I really want a spider, but the wife won't let me. So guess what I've done? I could, well, right. So it's a little bit controversial, actually, and I will say I'm going to be releasing this spider. I think it's an orb weaver, but I caught it in one of my. Do my dives eat the isopods? No, they don't actually. They never bothered with them. I thought that the bullet ants do eat isopods. The dives do not. What was I saying? Right. So yeah, spider. I saw it. It's tiny, and I had the enclosure right next to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting it in. So I got the spider. I put it in there. I put in a couple of flightless fruit flies. And I'm just going to keep this spider for a couple of weeks and then release it again, you know, because it's a wild spider. I'm not going to keep it captive. Honestly, I have no idea what it is species-wise. It is so small. Yeah. But the idea was I did it. Like the wife was there and I was like, oh, look, this spider. I'm going to keep it. And she didn't say no, right? She said, oh, okay then. Oh, so she's now like kind of getting used to the idea of me having little spiders. So yeah, creepy critters. I'm gonna be getting one of those jumping spiders with the little fuzziness and the eyes, and they're so cute. Gonna get one of them, and then I'm gonna get a big old tarantula. But we're getting there. We have broken the surface. You know, that fortress of non spiders is starting to tumble. There will be a time where there will be tarantulas and stuff in my house, and it's going to be awesome. And all of the kids are going to be like, run away. But I'm got a sleepover happening, like extra kids here. Last night we had extra kids here. It's the holidays. There's always going to be extra kids here. If I can scare them all with my tarantulas, because at the minute, kind of come in and go, and that's cool. If a couple of the kids really, yeah, that's cool. But if I can be like, here's my tarantula, stay out of my office area, you know, they might. No, thank you, Ant Ramblings. Good night. Very soon. Thanks for watching and signing in, buddy. You've been amazing. Yeah, the jumping spiders are very, very cute. And the tarantulas that Mantis and I don't know Latin as you here we go. Here we go. It is Carabinella vesicolor. Whatever. Right, I'm bringing it up. You can see it yourself. These stunning animals. An aquatic animal rescues just posted. Can I change my animals I like working with the least are centipedes. Too many legs, too fast. We had some surrendered, and I kept them inside a cave. Now that's quite. We had someone in the last stream who's mainly a tarantula keeper, but actually has a scent well, and they were in the same thing. They said the centipede had the schedule and would wait for them to turn up to try and escape, basically, and knew knew the escape routes and were fast and yeah, very not hard pets to keep, but you had definitely know what you're getting yourself into if you're getting a centipede. Because when they bite, they hurt. They can really hurt. And yeah, I've seen some impressive centipedes as well. Probably like a foot long, like 3 or 4 inches wide, big insects, scary insects. Really. They are huge. But then you go back like a few million years, insects were like ridiculous size. How cool would that be? I mean, we don't have high enough oxygen concentration anymore, thank goodness. But if the oxygen level was to increase, maybe we could have super silent insects again. Kevin, you are slightly late. You missed the interview. It doesn't matter. You're here now. Welcome. Hello. How are you? Thanks for sending in. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was bringing up the. I got distracted. This is what I was bringing up. Look at this. How stunning is that? Oh, hang on. It helps if I add it in. That is amazing. This is on Mantis, and don't forget. But yeah, absolutely stunning. So, well, with that, look at it. Yeah, cool. I like that a lot. I seem very glitchy. Is it the vocals, words, or is it the camera that's glitchy at the moment? If it's the camera, it might be. If it's the words, if it's me talk, whatever, that's a no, not for me. Yeah. I can try and sort out, but it's because I've got here again. I keep ringing the people who provide our broadband, and it's just ridiculous. Like my broadband is worse than like, what am I paying for? Yeah, I thought it might be the voice. See, I can swap it back to the other microphone, but it's miles away now because it's attached to this camera that you're viewing. Apparently, that's got the better camera and less microphone and everything. Whatever, it's annoying. It's what it's fixed. Oh dear. How many of you in the community own aquatic animals? I've been wondering about it. Video spot on. That's good to know because a few months back we were watching a black and white still image, you know. So it's good that at least he's looking. Yeah, how many of you in the community own aquatic animals, and what do you own? I don't have any currently. Apart from no, I do. I've got my crabs. I've got vampire crabs. Now they're aquatic, though they're semi-aquatic because they're technically land animals. They do live in well. Apart from that, I don't have any aquatic animals. I did have fish. We don't have fish anymore. They were more the kids' things. I think we won them at the fair. And then it was like, oh, now you've won a fish, you need to buy an enclosure. It's like, hang on a minute, how much is this enclosure? Twice as much as having to go for the fish. Oh, that amount. I don't think, like, I know this might be controversial, but I don't know if they should really give away fish at a fair. Like, the amount of kids that just go home with a fish and they just never look after it. I know my kids have a fish. It was up to me. And then one of the fish ate the other fish. And it was like, hang on, goldfish aren't meant to eat each other. There weren't even like massive size difference. Like it was ridiculous. But that's the way of the world sometimes. Eat or be eaten, I suppose. Now, I did have a few games and stuff lined up, but I don't know if I'm going to get away with it. Hey, you're Mark Spider Guy. Thanks for signing in, buddy. How are you? It's been a little while. We're just here talking about lots of random stuff. And I'm just going back through my notebook because I always miss stuff in my notebook. My handwriting, like, it's not just my handwriting, it's my way of thinking, right? Because my brain's always doing like 4 or 5 different things. Like notes on my notepad go absolutely everywhere. So just like I gotta go back through and make sure I'm covering everything that I needed to cover. Oh dear, right. So in the last stream, I told you about the dog that I used to walk. Long story, I'll kind of shorten it. Used to walk a dog for someone that was become unwell locally. Used to walk it like 3 times a day. Absolutely fell in love with this dog, and the dog loved me. Anyways, the guy died. I dog anymore. I bumped into the dog in the street, and its claws managed to cut all down my arm, and like quite nasty cuts. I'd say they're quite painful even now. So I was walking around the island today, and round the corner comes the dog, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Held my arms up so that she couldn't get me again. But I absolutely love that dog. She is a beaut. Really nice to her. It's not like I don't have much interaction with animals that like to be held and petted. Like I've got that mantis now, which I held briefly when I was like putting it in the enclosure for the first time and things like that. But apart from that, no, I'm just kind of leaving it to it. There's no need to handle all your pets, especially if they don't need handling. Dogs and cats, slightly different, but I don't have a dog or a cat. So yeah, it's always a treat to kind of bump into Violet is her name. It's always a treat to bump into Violet. Now, we're going to go 100% nerd right now. So I apologize to anyone in the chat that's not into it. But who's watched Obi-Wan? The new Obi-Wan series. Oh my god, it's out, it's happened. We've waited ages. It's amazing. Without putting too many spoilers in, because there might be people that haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. You need to tell us what you think of it. It's amazing. And like I say it on these streams because if you're a nerd for one thing, you're probably going to be a nerd for the other. Star Wars is pretty nerdy. Ants are pretty nerdy. You know, ant keepers might like Star Wars is my kind of thinking. And that's not like racist or I don't know. But everyone likes Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars, you're mad. But yeah, super cool. I don't know if it's going to live up to the expectations that it's going to be like the biggest thing ever, but it is pretty amazing already, and they're only 2 episodes in. They've done really well with casting. I really think, although there has been a bit of controversy about some of the casting, I think they've done really well. I think that first few scenes really kind of puts everything together later for the later episodes. And I can't wait to see how it develops and the storyline kind of goes. Obviously, since Disney took it over, canon, what is canon, what isn't canon, has become very blurred. So it's nice to have them kind of these things down and say, like, this is what's happened now. Like, forget everything you knew. This is a new canon. And then we've got to relearn like 40,000 years of history or something. But it's fine. We can do that. It's absolutely fine, Disney. I was just thinking, this is my voice. For those of you in the chat, I'm just going to say this is what I sound like. You know that anyways. But I was having a conversation with someone, and I talk like I'm a Dorset person. I talk kind of like a farmer. I miss out lots of letters, lots of T's, lots of letters just don't exist if you like talking to me. Like chocolate apparently there's 3 syllables in chocolate. Chocolate. I say chocolate, whatever. So yeah, I talk like this. Some other people have really funny accents, but we're not going to go into that. But I'll just, yeah, there we go. That was a random one for me to bring up, wasn't it? Oh dear. Who's been out enjoying the sun lately? It's been so hot, like absolutely roasting to the point I've got 2 windows open in front of me and I'm still sat here sweating. I mean, it's not a bad thing because it means that when I'm training outside, like it's nice in the sun. Kind of sucks to train outside in winter. I'm not going to the gym at home, so I've got no excuse. I don't even have to leave the house. It's right there when I wake up, staring me in the face. Like, my health will get better because I will force it to get better. I'm not here to muck about anymore. Fed up with feeling ill after, what's it been, like 4 months I've been ill now? Well, we all know, like, my conditions, whatever, but it just sucks. So we're going to get over this fairly soon. I will say we're heading towards the end of the stream. We're probably going to end it at about 10:30. As always, I don't want to bore you with my boring ramblings. I'm getting to the end of the things to talk about, so we will end the stream at 10:30. If there's anything you want to talk about, anything you want to ask me, anything at all, send me a little message now, and I'll make sure I'll answer you before the end. Now, what is it? It's Wednesday today. So Sunday coming, you're going to have just me. There is no interview currently lined up. But that's not to say it won't change. I'm constantly booking people in and awaiting email backs, So we might have an interview lined up for this Sunday. But as it stands at the moment, it is just me. But the Wednesday following, so that's 1 week today, we have a really cool guest. They are called Crawl Space. Now, I don't believe they've done any streams or podcasts before. They're not a massive thing. You probably never heard of them, in fact. It's going to be really interesting. I highly advise that you do tune in for that one. That's next Wednesday. If you don't want to watch just me, don't worry about Sunday. I mean, like I say, we will try and get an interview lined up for Sunday, but make sure that next Wednesday you do sign in because that's going to be a really good episode. Really interesting to see what's going on. I'm not going to give anything away right now, but it's going to be a really great episode. And we do have obviously some other really good guests lined up. We've got Ant Store. They're going to be coming on. I'm not giving you the date on that yet. Ant Store are coming on. We've got Any Exotics. We've got, in fact, I'm not even going to go through the whole list right now, but we've got loads of great interviews lined up for the next. Wow, my list goes all the way to October at the moment, and I've got people booked in all the way until October, and dates are filling up constantly. You know what it's like. So that's pretty cool. We're going to have some awesome people, and honestly, I can't wait for some of them. Like, some of these interviews are going to blow my mind. So we are just about to finish. But as always, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone in the community, all my listeners on every platform, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and on Spotify, because we do have people which sign on and listen to the show afterwards, offline, on Spotify. I don't know, on Spotify. So a massive thank you to everyone for supporting what we're trying to do here. Massive thank you to everyone for signing in regularly, being an amazing, welcoming community. And a massive thank you to everyone for just being amazing. Honestly, I can't thank you enough, is basically what I'm trying to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, seriously, on a serious note, I do fully appreciate you all coming in regularly, supporting what we're doing, and signing into the streams. I've really enjoyed tonight. I hope you've really enjoyed tonight. You know where to find me. I'm on pretty much every social media. I'll be available until stupid o'clock, as I always am. Any questions, queries, problems, give me a message. Check out the website. Things are changing on the website. There's, like, you can sign in and build a profile and like become friends with other ant keepers and chat between yourselves on there and stuff as well. There's all sorts of new features happening on the website. You know, it's always under new development. We've got a couple of people which have stepped onto the team lately. You know of Tom supporting us with his exotic ants. We've got a couple of other people working in the background, helping me develop some of the technology and stuff, which are really going to push the ant keeping community out to the front line. You know what I mean? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. And it just needs to happen now because I can't wait any longer. But yeah, a massive thank you. I love you all. If there's anything I can do, always just let me know. I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters. We currently have Jason, we currently have Katrina, and we currently have Stacey. You're all absolutely amazing for supporting me, especially through Patreon, because all of that just gets pumped straight back into the streams and improving the technology behind it. And a massive thank you to Answer Us for supporting the stream as well. Answer Us. If you can't find what you want on my website, check out Answer Us. He's got a great range of queens. He's going to be expanding into all sorts of new things soon. So do sign up to his newsletter. Keep your eye on Answer Us. He's an amazing shop, but not just that, he's an amazing guy and one of the most supportive of the ant community that I'm currently in talks with. I think is the right way. He's amazing. He'll do anything for the ant community, absolutely anything. He's such a passionate guy. Like, if you can't find it with me, go straight to him is basically what I say. And obviously, if anyone else, well, fireworks have just started. That's random. Oh yes, the Jubilee. That would be why. If anyone else wants to become a Patreon supporter, it's just £3 a month. Like I say, all the money gets pumped straight back into these streams. So it'll be really appreciated if you want to do it. But no offense taken if you don't. I completely understand. Money is super, super, super tight at the moment. So yeah, I fully appreciate any interest and support like that. But that is it. That is the end of the stream. I'm going to call it a night. You know where I am. If you want to talk, give me a little message, give me a shout, and I'll give you a shout straight back. But as always for me, big love. And tune out, fans. Good night.